So we have redness on our skin to cover up, we've got uneven skin tone to balance out, but we want something lightweight, easy to blend, and long wearing. These are the top 5 skin tints on the market right now from the opinion of a professional makeup artist who tests makeup products for a living. Since we're seeing a little bit more of a shift towards natural, more effortless looking makeup and skin, I thought a video like this would be helpful to help you find the skin tint that is right for you, depending on your skin tone, skin type, and budget. I'm also going to apply each of these 5 skin tints on camera for you today on top of my bare skin so you can see my imperfections peeking through. Usually I will apply a skin tint and then a little bit of concealer where needed. The whole idea of a skin tint is not for super full flawless coverage, so just keep that in mind. A skin tint gives more of a natural finish. It is typically more moisturizing and lightweight on the skin. These types of products are definitely more for someone who's looking for a more natural effect, maybe a no makeup, that kind of thing. So let's get right into it. I'm going to start off with my favorite skin tint that has been my favorite for years. I've gone through multiple bottles of these. This is the NARS Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer. This one retails for about $48 US and around 67 Canadian, so it's definitely on the pricier side. I think this one has a pretty good shade range. It comes in 16 shades, and you get a good variation from light to dark. What I love about this skin tint is it always applies beautifully on top of skincare. This one never gives me any issues with pilling. It blends really easily, and it honestly gives me probably the most skin-like effect of all of these skin tints. That being said, the coverage isn't super high. It gives a very skin-like coverage and a very skin-like finish. So not too dewy, not too matte, but this does feel quite hydrating on the skin. This is one of those rare skin tints that I think would work for all skin types, ranging from dry to oily. If you're on the oilier side, you may need to apply a little bit of powder on top of this. This particular tinted moisturizer lasts me a full day. It might not be the longest wearing tinted moisturizer on this list, but nonetheless, it is my favorite. Okay, so this one is my favorite drugstore option. This is the Maybelline Superstay 24-Hour Skin Tint. This one retails for $17.99 US or $21.99 Canadian. This still isn't super cheap for drugstore, but let me tell you, this is a very quality product. It comes in a glass bottle and it actually feels quite luxury for a drugstore product. The only thing I don't love about it is the dropper. It gets a little messy. This one has 15 shades and it has a lot of lighter shades, but I do feel like they could come out with some deeper shades if I'm being honest. This skin tint is probably the most long-wearing skin tint of the bunch. This really does last the longest throughout the day, and I would also say this is the highest coverage of the bunch as well. This one definitely gives me the most even finish to my skin, but the consistency is definitely a little bit heavier than the rest. It's not quite as lightweight as some of the other ones. I would also say that the finish of this product is a little bit more on the glowy side. You could honestly build this product up to give you more of a medium coverage, which is pretty good. The only downside I would say to this one is that if you have super dry skin, this might not actually be the best product for you because I do feel like this clings a tiny little bit to dry patches. It can sometimes be a little bit finicky with what you're wearing underneath, but overall, a really great drugstore skin tint. All right, this is another one of my favorite skin tints. This is kind of similar to the NARS in my opinion. There's a few key differences. This is the Hourglass Veil Hydrating Skin Tint. Again, this retails for $48 US and about 67 Canadian. This comes in 18 different shades. I think this is a pretty good shade range. What do you guys think? I really like the packaging on this one. I like the squeezy tube. It's really easy to apply directly to the skin. This is definitely a light coverage skin tint. I wouldn't say you can build this up to a medium coverage. This gives you a very, very natural finish, and this is a little bit more glowy and slippery in texture than the NARS one. However, I would say this one lasts a little bit longer throughout the day, and it's also cruelty-free and vegan if that's important to you. This is another one of those formulas that melts right into the skin. It never pills, it applies super easily, it never has streaks. It is just an absolute breeze to work with. The skin type I think would work best with this product would be a normal to dry skin type. This might be a little too slippery for oily skin types. And by the way, you guys, I'm applying all of these with my favorite Hourglass foundation brush. I will link this down below. I have multiples of these. This is my favorite brush to apply any foundation or skin tint. And if you want to know what shade I'm using, I will link my shade down below. Next up, we have the Supergoop Protect Tint. This is an SPF 50. So this one is really good for those of you who like a high SPF in your skin tints. You could probably wear this on your own and be good because it has an SPF 50. This one retails for 44 USD and 63 Canadian. So again, a little bit on the pricier side. And this one comes in 14 shades. This one feels like a very cushiony, lightweight gel. This would be really perfect for the girls who really are going for a no makeup look but want that SPF protection throughout the day. This one obviously is not going to give you a white cast like other sunscreens might. This one's pretty easy to blend in, and it also gives a nice glow to the skin. It makes your skin look really hydrated and plump. And this one is also vegan and cruelty-free. I think since this is an SPF 50, this one can be a little bit tricky to use with other skincare products underneath. So sometimes I do notice a little bit of pilling, but it's nothing that I can't just buff out, which is good. This might be a little bit too glowy for those of you with oily skin types, and if you have very intense dry skin and dry patches, this also might not work for you because it might cling a little bit to the dry patches. But if you're not on too far on either side of those skin types, I do feel like this would work for you. Last but not least, I feel like this one is kind of underrated if I'm being honest. This is the Fenty Hydra Visor Tinted Moisturizer. This is an SPF 30, and I don't keep mine in the little case that it comes with just because I feel like it's less bulky this way. I don't really care about the aesthetics, but anyways, this one is 46 USD and I believe 66 Canadian dollars. This one comes in 10 different shades, and honestly, I was expecting a little bit more from Fenty in terms of the shade range. Like for me, this is the lightest shade and it is a little bit dark. I only tend to use this in the summertime, so excuse the application footage, it's a little dark on me. But this feels really lightweight on the skin, and it actually has quite buildable coverage. You can make this really light and you can almost build this up to maybe a medium coverage. I don't know, it's a little bit of a stretch, but this does have more coverage than a lot of the other skin tints in this video. Of course, you've got the SPF 30 in there, but I don't find that this affects the blendability of the formula at all. This really behaves well on the skin. Although if you really want high sun protection, you might want to wear a sunscreen underneath that's a little bit higher, like an SPF 50 or above. This is cruelty-free, vegan, gluten-free, and fragrance-free. So if you have sensitive skin, this might be a good one for you. This is a formula that I think would be good on all skin types. Dry, normal, oily. I think this would just be really good for everyone, actually. It's not too glowy that it would get too oily on oily skin in my opinion, but it's not too drying and it doesn't really cling to my dry patches. I just feel like this is a really good tinted moisturizer, and I like the little added benefit of the SPF in this one. So yeah, I do feel like this one's a little underrated. It's just really good. So those are my top 5 skin tints. If you guys like this video and want me to do other makeup categories, please give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments down below what other products you want to see me review in this sort of style. I also am really snoopy and I want to know what your favorite skin tint is because I often go out and buy the things you recommend in the comments, so I'll meet you in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It only takes a couple seconds and it really helps me out a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.